Good Monday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the Internal Combustion Engine Age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles and the Kiefer and the bird. Look at that, the bird bath. Hey, I painted it yesterday. We can put another coat on it, but how about that? One of the subscribers was reaching out and saying, what the heck, I think it was Bob from Melbourne, Florida, was saying, what the heck is that thing laying in your yard? I think that was him. Maybe somebody else said, hey, I got motivated yesterday and I cleaned it up and actually put some silicone in it to make it so it actually will hold water for the birds so they can just come and poop in my cars. Oh my goodness gracious, here it is Monday morning, and oh my goodness gracious, another week upon us. And actually weather is very nice this morning, not too humid, not too hot. It's a beautiful day out to be golfing, biking, fishing, projects, whatever it may be. And as always, good morning to all those that tune into my channel and listen to me gab away and take a word of the day and try to create conversation, which isn't easy, but I do it on a regular basis. So here we are. There's Kiefer harassing the little ginger girl, what she just loves to do. What is that all about, right? The male-female dominance of life. And here are the muscle cars, the Ram TRX and the Whipple horse. That car is so much fun, and I got to get that exhaust chip realigned with mac and cheese. And yeah, the Ram truck looks good. Everything's good. All the vehicles look nice and clean, thank goodness. Trying to stay on top of that. That new car wash that has that rolling mat lets me drive my big trucks through, which makes a big difference. As we roll over to the shop, cleaned up the shop a little bit yesterday because it's just getting out of control with so many motorcycles and cars and all the goodies. And I got creative and I'm setting up my own little museum. Look at this here. The Honda 450R WE with that really cool stand. It is so cool because that stand just lifts right up and goes right down. And you don't have to sit there and manhandle the stand and the bike and lift it up on it. You just position the motorcycle over that stand. You push down on it and it raises it instantly. Isn't that nice? Then I got the HRC nice rug for the actual purchase of the 450R Works Edition. So that was thrown in as a gift. Now I get my nice fire blade on top of it with all the dog hair and everything else that's going to accumulate on that. Everybody knows that story, I'm sure of that. How long that looked clean and good. Let's get the dogs upstairs so they're not distracting me on my wife got the dog a new collar. And the Kong collar, the big one, he broke his other one, trying to chase us, ride around on the Grom and the monkey. So, what do we talk about after talking about last week's conversation? How do we start the theme this week? So I thought the word of the day would be important. We have not had the important conversation. And in somebody in a serious relationship, business, whatever it may be, when you have somebody say we need to have an important conversation, that raises your awareness of what have I done now? What's going on now? So I got the Grom over here. It's kind of tight. I definitely got the collection like 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just in the shop now, 14 motorcycles and dirt bikes. Wow. Here's this new helmet that I bought. I really like this helmet. Looks pretty cool. It's the motocross, the motorbike helmet. A company I've never even heard of, but apparently they've been around a while. It's all carbon fiber. Got a great deal on it. Got new goggles. They threw on a nice hat for me. That hat is $40. Just to show you where today's economics are. Look at this hat. Where is it? Where's the price? I think they tore it off. This was $39.95, and Jack threw it in. Got some nice new gloves that are ventilated for my collection of yet more and more things. Can't find my kid's helmet. Total mystery where that guy helmet went off to. I swear it's like in here. I gotta look at that right now. I'm thinking about it. No, it's not. Golly, gee whiz, man. Sorry, the daughter's motocross helmet has disappeared. Probably in the back of a trunk, one of these vehicles. Who the heck knows? Oh, look at here. When I got the Whipple supercharger, I finally, just yesterday, I finally got the box out of my race truck. And then this is the instructions on how to install everything. But in that box, it has the Whipple Supercharger stickers. Yeah, they give you Whipple Supercharger license plate. And hey, got a whole new 100 pack, 100 more Ice Age TV stickers. Anybody wants to participate, Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com. I'll mail me your address and your name. I'll mail you some stickers. But anyways, so the debate is, do I put the Whipple Supercharger, pretty cool, right? The Whipple Supercharger on the Mustang. Actually has a perfect area in the hood to do that. But at the same time, then it says I'm Mr. Badass. And then does it just create the people who want to race me? Some part of me is like, just be the sleeper guy, where they just think this is a regular old Mustang and it doesn't really have a lot. But right here is where I was planning on putting it, right across this area. You can see the lines of the hood right there. So, once again, but then, am I advertising to race everybody? Which, in some ways, I think you are. Guy pulls up and goes, oh, yeah, I think he's Mr. Badass, right? So, as always, we take the conversations from the important conversations. So what is important? And you think to yourself, you step back in life and you say, what is really important in your life? And I think to myself, that can have so many answers. Oh, this new weed whacker I bought, I really like this thing because it's a little lighter unit with this 60 volt. I wish it was 80 volt because I got a ton of 80 volt batteries over there. But it is a good unit. It only runs about probably 15 minutes. But it's a really nice unit I used. Over the weekend started trimming, but then it died. Then the rains came in, so a lot of things going on there. And then Mr. Sanchez is really reaching out a lot on the comments, wanting to know why Julia isn't riding this badass bike. Well, for the record, I think I misspoke in my comments to him, but Julia did want to ride this bike. But the day I brought it home, I rode it. But then when I got done riding it, I don't think I filmed that. I think I told Mr. Sanchez I did. I think I made a mistake there, so sorry, Mr. Sanchez. But the whole point is, she did want to ride the bike, but she was in shorts. And I was like, no way, no way. This is a 38-inch tall seat. And for my daughter, how was she going to get off and on this bike? And my concern was, if she was to fall over in shorts and that exhaust, that engine hit her, oh my gosh, that would be brutal. So I was like, no. So she didn't feel like going to get all changed in to her riding gear. And she's like, I'll just ride a different day. But my daughter rode this bike. But you don't know this stuff when I had a 450L. So I had an Enduro on-road, off-road motorcycle that we bought. I bought her to learn how to start riding street and riding dirt, unbeknownst to the wife. Yeah, that was the thing. My wife thought maybe the dirt bike was a dirt bike, but it's a road bike as well. And we were going up the road secretly without the wife knowing as the kids learning how to ride a bike. But that was a huge mistake because it's too big a bike. And she fell off that bike. And she fell off that bike at an intersection where she's laying down the middle of the road where it's a hill and a car can come over the hill and run her over and kill her. I mean, it was so bad what happened. So we turned around and I traded that back in for that CRF 300, which was a much better fit bike. Yeah. My daughter transitioning from dirt to road. I don't know if I've told that whole story or not, but I'm not going to get into it today. If my wife not even knowing my daughter is riding on the street, you know how dangerous that is. As a husband, a relationship, that you put your kid on the street on a motorcycle and your spouse doesn't even know what's going on. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. I get it. So, anyways, the importance, and that's the thing. It's the importance of safety. So, if you kind of think about life. Yeah, the most important thing I think most of us are always kind of on the page on is the well-being, the safety of you, your family, and that's huge. And more so than ever, the cars and trucks and motorcycles that are around us, they've made these cars so-called safer, but you have to kind of wonder that, because if you think it through, the statistics of the number of people dying in cars and trucks is about the same as it was, I think, 20 or 30 years ago. Somebody could correct me on that. I didn't look that up. I should have. That'd have been a good conversation. But you think it through, they have all this technology on these cars, but there's more people on the roads. So there's a lot of variables there. So I guess in the end, yes, the importance more than ever, the manufacturers, is they're trying to bring products to us that are safer. And for you and I, once again, what's the biggest thing that people are turned off about on motorcycles. They don't feel like they're safe. So their important part of them is, I don't want to get hurt, so I don't want to be on a motorcycle. For the motorcycle enthusiasts, such as I and many others, we like the importance of going and having fun, and we know we're risking the health of our well-being because you're on a two-wheel bike, but it outweighs, it doesn't outweigh the fun factor in the independence and the freedom and just the all-out thrill of riding that motorcycle. My daughter yesterday was so much like, Dad, I really want to take the CBRs to the car shows, blah, 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 blah. I was like, right, I know that, but I never have taken the Dark Horse, Whipple Horse to the car show with the supercharger. And yesterday was really the goal to do that. It was the goal to do the daddy-daughter Vapor Mustang Day, which I don't think we've done that yet. I don't know. You can't keep track of it. And then Metallica, I think he's gotten confused on his comments that came to me because he was reaching out to me that the Mustangs have recalls. But he then voiced on some comments, it's getting too confusing just for you to know, Mr. Metallica, that he's saying, no, he's talking about the 22-23, the steering hazard, the loss of issue steering or something like that, which I don't think he realizes on these cars, you have the Ford Pass app, and it shows up in your app what recalls are on these cars. So my car has a recall for the transmission line inspection. The daughter has the rear knuckle and the transmission line inspection. And what was important yesterday was my daughter didn't take that car and be going up the road. In Murphy's Law, now we know the rear knuckle could maybe break and have loss of control of the car. We're just not going to do that. So for Metallica, it's kind of weird. I think he was sending me an important message, but it really wasn't the message. His message was different of the message that I thought he was sending. That's kind of where it all went out. And then the daughter was like, yeah, but I should just take the car. I'm like, hey, we've already totaled one Mustang. We're not totaling a second one. For the record, if you really watch my channel, you'll know that Ford Mustang Bullitt that I bought back in pre-pandemic 2020, that car was totaled, and I don't want another totaled Mustang. So I was like, no. Whole point of that is the daughter's just dying to ride the CBRs up to the bike show. Like, whatever, we'll do that another day. But when you go up there and it's hot, like yesterday, she forgets. That car show became very hot. When you're wearing all your gear, it is so uncomfortable standing around a parking lot with it being 90 degrees out and humid. I'm like, I don't think my daughter even thought that through last night. It's like, you really want to be up in that parking lot for an hour, standing around, walking around in all your gear, and just, hot as hell? No, thank you. So once again, I think the importance of all of us is the well-being of our health and safety for ourselves. And again, I'd be very intrigued to know if anybody out there really kind of knew the numbers. Has the better design and safer cars created a safer road and less crashes? I don't know. I think that's a mixed conversation on that. Motorcycles, the biggest thing that motorcycles have accomplished is traction control and ABS. So, and that's something that's interesting in this Honda Grom. The ABS only comes in white, the red, and the blue. They're non-ABS. And for my daughter, after taking her Harley Street Bob down in Tennessee and not understanding how if you pull on that front brake really hard, especially if it's wet out, the frickin' front steering is going to turn on you and the wheel's going to like jackknife on you. You're going down. So she had a hard lesson of not understanding that the tire and brake connect together and they stop moving, and then you stop moving as you're laying on the ground. So she's now all about ABS, which I don't disagree. ABS is a nice feature. I know it's a little Grom, but the whole point is, the goal is we're going to ride these things around the streets and neighborhoods as well. Nothing out in the major highways. It doesn't go fast enough to be run over. But once again, the ABS in today's technology for motorcycles, I think it's a great advancement. Some don't like it. The real old school Harley guy or motorcycles enthusiast would be like, I know how to handle the situation. Don't need no ABS. And then for Honda, which I had, in some ways I kind of still wish I did have the airbag edition. That was always pretty cool to know that this bike had an airbag in it. This one does not. But if it would have had the airbag, I probably would have bought it. But it's a lot of money because the whole theory is if you get in a T-bone accident, the airbag deploys. It keeps you from, going over the hood of the car, and it puts you back in your seat, and you lay the bike down the ground instead of being ejected, 100, 200, 300 feet in the air, and most likely being critically injured or dying. So what else is important? I think the importance is of relationships for us. Some would be like, yeah, my car relationship. Yeah, right. My dealership relationship. Isn't that important? Who doesn't know these stories? If you buy the brand new car, badass, greatest sales experience, blah, 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 blah. Then something happens to the car, and if something ain't right, and then you get to meet the service side. And the service side just doesn't think you're that important. And then you're now going to dealership, and you've got a problem, your brand new car, and the service side has a little different position of what the sales and managing team has, because they wanted to make a sale, where the service side is, it's just another headache for us today to deal with another customer that's got a product that we service that bugs the hell out of us, and that resonates over to you, who hasn't had that story, who hasn't left the dealership because of the service side of it, and then vice versa, who hasn't left the dealership because of the sales relationship, because they don't make you feel important. And that's a key thing in life, is for a relationship, the way you treat somebody is huge on the end result. If you don't make them feel they're important, I've been in sales most of my life. That was a very young lesson I learned, reading books on how to be a salesperson, how to communicate, and a very important talent is you helping others feel like they're very important. And that resonates through your body language, the way you speak. And that's why Kamala Harris, that lady speaks down to everybody. I don't get anything about how people are excited about this lady, Kamala Harris. Can't the Democratic Party do better? They can't, because Barack Obama doesn't want some smart person in charge, because then he can't make him the Muppets. I mean, that's just old rhetoric. But point is, way you talk to somebody, the way you interact with somebody, it resonates if you feel that they are important to you, or not so much. Who hasn't had that experience where you've gone somewhere and you feel like the people have treated you not very respectfully, and you don't feel like you're that important? When you buy a really nice car, a really high-line car, that makes you feel like you're important. I mean, sincerely, if you're driving around a used beater car versus you're driving around in a beautiful red-eye Hellcat or a beautiful Z06 Corvette, or you're just driving around in a Toyota Corolla, or just a regular old beater car, you don't have that importance feel about you like you do when you own these really nice vehicles, because it's a stature thing. That's what I talk about all the time. People buy BMWs, the Mercedes, the Porsches. Not only are those very nice, engineered, refined cars, but also it's an importance factor that makes you feel like you're important, and it makes you resonate to others that you have taken life on, and it's very important to your success of what you've done, and it resonates back through the clothes you wear, the way you carry yourself, the car you're driving, the neighborhood you live in. I mean, this is all stuff that, once again, it's the importance value that you want to portray to others, that you feel, deep down it's important. But then we have totally opposite, where people don't care. People, they'll drive, they look raggedy, they talk raggedy, they just have a lousy attitude. They got junk. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And that importance to them, they don't give to your rat's ass. Hey, am I talking about the political parties presently in our country and the people that support one side versus the other? Boy, I tell you, that could go to a lengthy conversation, couldn't it? There's the Whipple box over here with all the old components. Brett out there at the Z06, Blue Z06, he made a good point yesterday. When they took this Whipple supercharger and they converted it from a 2 inlet to a 2 into 1, he's like, you have 2 separate throttle bodies. And I never even noticed that. But if you look up here, look here. So on the factory Dark Horse and the new Mustangs with a dual intake, air intake, there's 2 throttle bodies. But now on that Whipple setup, the 2 air intakes go into 1 throttle body. Isn't that interesting? That was really good eyes for Brett, man. Oh, he's so funny. If you're watching my channel, he said, I saw you roll that Talon of yours, and now I've taken back that I don't think I'm gonna let you drive my Corvette. I'm worried you're gonna crash that. I was like, yeah. I was like, but it doesn't even matter. I'm not driving a Corvette, because once I drive it, I'm gonna want one. I already know that. That's just who I am. Because I know that car is a badass car. I'm going to get in it. I'm going to be, all the things are going to click. And then all I'm going to be fixated on is, how do I go buy a Z06? So, no, I'm not going to do it. That's just because I know who I am. But for Brett, he just feels it's important that I get a chance to compare my older Corvette to a newer one, or to the, he just wanted me to have the thrill of what that car is. But I already know. I know how badass it is. So the importance, what other things in our life are important? Well, as I just said, I think people are very concerned about the importance of their well-being, having a job, because the job resonates to the monies you make, to be able to have food and shelter, and then as you progress as a young person, to maybe have a family, which that's the importance of as you kind of get going in this world. And many people would be like, the education, what's very important in life is education, learning. It's interesting, that guy, Victor Davis Hanson, has his own YouTube channel. And it's interesting, I was talking about last week, how he was ragging these universities of being the ideology universities and not the learning universities anymore. People know all about that. But he said that what he's starting to experience is these very wealthy, elitist people are pulling back on wanting to send their kids to these brainwashing ideology colleges. And what he's hearing more than ever is people are calling and inquiring about trade schools, because the trade schools don't have this brainwashing ideology crap in it. My kid went to 1 year of the Nova Northern Virginia Community College year, and I'm going to tell you straight up, she came home on a regular basis telling me these freaking professors mouthing off about what they believe is right versus wrong, nothing to do with the studies of the class, but just mouthing off for the subliminal brainwashing messaging to this younger generation that if you don't believe what I believe, then you get an F. And in so many words, that's what goes on. And I'm not saying all universities are that way, but the point of that conversation is that what's important to us as parents, what's important to us growing up, is getting the education so that you can succeed and prevail. But more than ever, I think a lot of parents are starting to pull back, thinking that the universities are really the important part of the development of their kid. When you hear so many stories of their subscribers on my own channel that I know personally have reached out to me and have told me after their kid went to college, they came back a total different person. And they came back to the point where their relationship as father and daughter, father-son, had changed. The importance of that family, and that's what the thing is about life, is we're witnessing more than ever, the importance of family has decayed like never ever seen in modern times at a faster pace ever seen. As you know from Elon Musk, and others even voicing as well, the amount of younger women becoming pregnant and having children in the world is declining. So the importance of family is not what it is. We have inner cities with fatherless homes that is rampant beyond rampant. And even very astute black individuals that are of age, 70s, maybe even 80s, they will tell you in their stories in life that when the government started handing out entitlements to women to be pregnant with fatherless homes, that's when Pandora's box began. They do. And this isn't anything me on my channel wanting to be discriminatory, racist, or anything. It's me just talking to you as an individual. And I'm not saying a white guy or a Hispanic guy doesn't do the same thing. That would be very foolish and very demeaning, very rude. But the point is, on our inner cities, what a lot of people saw back in the 60s was when the government started handing out monies to help those that needed assistance because they had fatherless homes, it created a trigger. It just created more fatherless homes. It didn't resolve the problem. It made the problem worse. And that's the thing where we are today more than ever, is for us, what is the importance of what is going on in our country more than ever, which it's the same old rhetoric on my channel. It's the green agenda. The green agenda is at the highest level of importance ever in this country. It's been going on in Europe for sure, but in our own country, the transitioning of renewable energies and getting away from this fossil fuel, it is the most important agenda that this city administration has been hammering on now for coming up 4 years since Joe Biden took office and created the Inflation Reduction Act, which you've heard me talk about that a gazillion times. The point is, the most important thing on this city administration's agenda is to transition us Ice Age people to the renewable energies and the EV age. And that's all it is. That's the most important thing that's on their agenda. At no matter what cost, at no matter what success or failures, which we're starting to see failures. I was reading an in-depth article today about how the renewables are going broke. These companies that are trying to transition away from the fossil fuels, it just isn't happening. And these companies that are having millions and hundreds of millions of dollars invested into them, the renewables just aren't affordable, and the transition just isn't playing out the way they want to, and a lot of them are going bankrupt and closing shop. And so the fossil fuels is continuing to be the more dominant product in whatever, in our country, in the world. And it's not going to go away anytime soon. Here's a good, interesting article. The iron ore, which is dominant dirt, the tank takes dirt and ore in it, makes metal, makes steel. I was really intrigued to read the article because most probably know this, but China right now has some important issues to deal with. The importance of China is they want to be the number one country in this world, and they've worked very hard to build infrastructure to support the world with all their raw materials of building batteries and steel, and then being the outsource of all the manufacturers in our country to make it important to the CEOs of our country to have a great bottom line because we're using cheap forced labor in China to make everything. And that way the CEOs enrich themselves to the hilt. They can show all the stockholders that they've made a gazillion dollars for them. And that's very important if you're a stockholder of a company that has major investments. But the point is, for the steel industry, China's been the most dominant steel producer in the world. Up to 54% of the world's steel comes from China. And I know a lot of people know from my age, it's like junk. When they first started making that steel, and they actually add other materials where it's not really all full steel to cut the corners and cut the expenses. But China right now has in some ways overdeveloped their own country, and other countries such as Austria and South Africa have new mining ore operations coming online that are going to take away from the China dominance of being the only big guy in town selling steel. So there's a very big concern over in China that a lot of these China factories are going to start going broke and closing. And in actuality, it's already happening, but not at a radical degree at this point. But this is of great importance to Xi Jinping over there in China, wanting to continue to be the number one powerhouse in the world, working on it. They're not there yet, but that's very important for their culture, their status. And look what they did in the Olympics. I think that was the highest amount of medals for them in modern times, but maybe not totally. I'm not sure on all that. As we continue to walk around in circles here in my garage, you're probably like, geez, I'm getting car sick with the Iceman walking around in circles in his important conversations. So now, I got to get some coffee. Really need some water because my voice is going dry as I sit here and talk my mouth off. This morning is Kiefer Boy. Kiefer's kind of transitioning. He seems to be kind of calming down a little bit, not a lot, but he likes to play with the ball like all night long. I just throw the ball all night long with that dog. He'll play all night long. And so I go in, which I usually go in, it's like 9 o'clock, 9:30, into the important part of my nice camper. Yeah, still live in the camper. Love the camper. I just love that camper. I know. And the wife's going away. This is her birthday week, and she's heading out to Tennessee. Not today, not tomorrow. And if you look down there at the Grand Wagoneer, all the Ice Age TV stickers are off. Yeah, it's very important for my wife. She just doesn't want, she goes to work. She just doesn't want everybody to know with the other side of her life. Yeah, it's challenging. So she requested all the stickers come off that vehicle because she's driving that vehicle to work tomorrow to go to Tennessee. She loves the Grand Wagoneer. That's a great vehicle for Anybody out there looking for an SUV, but the Chevy Tahoe, there's so many options of what you can buy. But what's important to you when you buy a car is, once again, it's the safety of the car, reliability of the car. So that's the thing that goes on. And when you start thinking to yourself, what's the next car I'm going to get? What's the importance of that car? Well, there's lots of things. Not only is it the reliability, the safety, then the looks of it, the economy, the fuel economy. Boy, my voice is just shot. I gotta get water, man. It's just embarrassing. But you know, when you get up early in the morning like I do, and I talk every day of my life, and I talk all day long every day. Could you do what I do? Could you talk for hours and hours and hours every day of your life? That's what I do. If you watch my channel, I put hours and hours and hours in on Yabba Dabba Doing on my channel. And does it take it out of you eventually? It does. It really does, right, Kiefer? I mean, yelling at Kiefer and everybody else. So, but what you have to say to yourself today is, what is the importance of this, of our country? I mean, what is the driving force? And I'm really curious to hear others weigh in. So hold on. Got to get some water in my system here to keep on talking, everybody. Is you have to say to yourself, what is the importance of this country? Where are we going? And once again, I'd love to hear other people's perspectives of what's going on. Because I just said the biggest importance of this administration, present times, is the green agenda. But also, it has other agendas as well that seem to be extremely important, that are being pushed like never seen. And like I said a month ago, or whenever Kamala Harris was recognized to be the replacement of Joe Biden for presidency, I said you see the biggest media blitz marketing campaign ever. There's like two guys on X, Ed and Brian. I wonder if anybody knows these two guys, twin brothers. They're out of Florida. I think they're out of Fort Myers, Florida. And they run their mouth all day long. And they're really bad. I mean, if I ever met them in person, I'd be like, you guys are the biggest con artists in the world. You guys are being paid off by the Democratic Party to get on X and run your mouth all day long. Because when Joe Biden was in office, greatest damn thing ever in the world, when people were questioning whether he would be physically fit to be a president, these guys, these brothers would team up on two different accounts. Joe Biden's fine. Donald Trump's a piece of crap. I mean, just they run their mouths all day long. Then when Kamala Harris came on board, she's the smartest, greatest thing this country could ever have. They're both being paid off by George Soros. Anybody gets on X, these are two brothers that I'm going to promise you are being funded by the Democratic Party to run their mouth all day long, brainwashing the idiots of the world to listen to what they run their mouth on. Kamala Harris could be replaced tomorrow by Ronald McDonald of McDonald's in a clown suit, and these two guys would mouth off all day long how great Ronald McDonald is of the McDonald's. They would. These two guys are the biggest clowns in X, but they make a ton of money because they create content, because you know what's important to them is their bank account. That's all that matters to them. That's where we are in today's society more than ever. I feel that the importance of your bank account outweighs everything else, and I'll just lie to you all day long, and I'll bend and twist things all day long, and I'll cheat and do devious things all day long, because all that's important to me at the end of the day is that my bank account is healthier today than it was yesterday. That's all it is. And the social media platform supports this stuff by enriching people to run their mouth and get the most views and hits, and it's algorithms, and I've talked about it a gazillion times. Same thing on YouTube. There's all these people out there running their mouth all day, being the so-called experts all day long. They don't even work in the industry they talk about, but they run their mouth and they're the expert, because all that's important to them is they get more views than anybody else out there in the YouTube community, and they get the money deposited in their checking account. That's all it is. It's all about how they can run their mouth. And that's what intrigues me so much about where we are in society, is the importance of agendas, that those people don't even understand what the agendas are, or even in that trade or industry. How can you honestly tell somebody how to live your life or how to be a professional football coach if you never even coached a football team? But yet in the social platform of this country, what's going on more than ever is everybody's a so-called expert. I mean, sincerely, everybody's a so-called expert, but they don't even work or do what they're talking about. It's beyond unbelievable what we're going on. So the point is, what is the importance of the city administration. What are they trying to accomplish? What is the reason people are going to flock to the polls to get another 4 years of Barack Obama? Why? What will drive that? Well, I've said it 1,000 times. If you're the green agenda believer, the green agenda activist, you're the company that's getting funneled millions of dollars for your so-called renewable energies for a company that you only has a glimmer of hope to create renewable energies, but it fails, but you still got your millions of dollars, and so what? Who cares? Ain't my money. What is going on? So you have to say to yourself, once again, I'm redundant on my conversation. I know that. So we got the renewables, we got the green agenda, but then we're in wars. What is this administration's goal with all these wars? And the only thing I can figure out is it's the monies. It's the defense contractors. It's the ammunition people. Is it, I mean, really what, I mean, I'd love to hear what the end result is from these wars we're in, from Israel and Gaza, Palestinians, and Ukraine, Russia. What is the goal? What's the most important thing as we funnel money to these countries to watch them obliterate each other? What is it? I'm just throwing that out there to other individuals. What's the importance of, young people being able to be anything you want? What is that all about? I mean, sincerely, just help me out here. I'm not here to be mean to anybody, to be racist to anybody, to create the rabbit hole, to create my channel being marked as a bad channel. I'm just asking, what's going on? This city administration, their importance is that young people can transition to whatever they want to be, and that parents have to be kicked to the side on that. What is this administration's goal of continuing to let these professors run their mouths at these universities and create the divisions of these universities when they're publicly funded? I guess you should say privately funded as well. What is this city administration's goal by taking the SAT testing away from colleges, where it turns into the DEI and you're accepted in Harvard, Stanford, Duke. I can go through the list of these very astute universities that these people that don't even qualify anymore get to participate in the educational system. So what's this administration's goal? I mean, what better comes from that? What's other things that seems to be very important? It seems like it's very important that the police departments are hammered and are downsized, and the police authority doesn't have the authority it used to have, and that they elect district attorneys that will rewrite law so that criminals can do more harm than good with no consequences. So what is this? What is important? But what comes from that? Why is the AOC lady, the whack job AOC lady, mouth off on how it's important that people can go and rob stores with no consequences? What is that? Why is that so important to her? Her lifestyle is already, she's set for life. She's all the connections. There's nothing to come from her supporting, in so many ways, vandalism and criminals. But why is that so important to this one-sided party, it seems like, that is supporting what I just talked about, the crime that's gone through the roof in our country? But others will argue it's gone down. But what people don't understand is the crimes that used to be crimes are no longer reported because they're not a crime. So the crime hasn't gone down. It's just like this. What if all the highway speeds were 100 miles an hour? How many tickets would be written now? Not many at all. How about if all the road signs, speed limits were all doubled from where you live? Not many tickets anymore. It would be, most people aren't going to be doing 120 miles an hour down the highway. Some will, yeah, but for the most part, most aren't going to do that. So if you raise the limit of the infrastructure of laws, that's a perfect example of just the speeding aspect. Then all of a sudden, the insurance industry doesn't have the chance to raise your rates on your insurance premiums because the speeding tickets have disappeared. The reckless driving tickets have disappeared. If they take away that you can drive drunk and have no consequences from it, And then you wouldn't, I mean, it's just the whole point of that is, what is this administration? What is this new run for presidency? What is important to them? The illegal immigration. It seems like, I mean, I think most people would tend to agree that it seems like the illegal immigration is open arms, and the message in the world is come to our country, and the importance is that you come here, and then us individuals are going to take care of you, and they feel important, so they do whatever they can to get here. This administration seems to think that it's very important that people that seek asylum and need help need to have open arms here at whatever cost to the American citizens, and they can come here, and we'll even put them in hotel rooms. We'll even pay for their way, and we have hardship and harmony feelings to these people. And so this city administration, once again, what is important to them? Important is that this government funds the heck out of illegal immigration, which they're doing, to the point that the next thing that they have of great importance is non-citizens have the availability to vote in federal elections. There's a whole other thing that they feel so strongly that it's very, very important that all you illegals that come here, you will have the right to vote in our country to decide who the next administration is. Wow. I think everybody understands that underlying message, that if you're being told in another country, Joe Biden loves you, he will hug you, kiss you, and love you, and Barack Obama will be right there with him, and Kamala Harris will be right there with him, and Tim Walz, yeah, he'll do more than kiss and hug you. And so those people will come here, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, if I have the right to vote, I'm voting for Joe Biden. Oh, I mean, I'm voting for I'm voting for Barack Obama again. So, yeah, it's a no-brainer. If you spoil people, and they don't have to go through the whole doctrine of getting to be a U.S. citizen and having to pay into the system, then hello, wow. Okay, that's it. I'm done. It's important that I stop talking right now, right? That's it. So what are you doing next? Who knows? Is there another Grom coming to the Ice Age compound? I don't know. So got to get in, get the day going. Beautiful day, and we now really are on the cutting edge of the season changing as the leaves are starting to get a little bit of a drier look, and also the kids in this Loudoun County, Virginia area, they start school Wednesday. Wow. And football is already on. Oh my gosh. Hard to believe football is already on. And I don't really watch a lot of football per se, but I did catch the Chiefs and the Lions, or was it the Detroit Lions, that had that game-winning field goal where they beat the Super Bowl champions. Wow. Was that a heck of a game? So that's it. I'm going to hang up. So everybody, hope you guys have a great day, an important day. God bless.